Hey, it's Jordan, and once again, my voice is shot from screaming during a swim so I'm gonna be talking a little bit quieter. Again. So, I just kind of wanted to make a short, sweet video that I hope will actually end up being short and sweet about something that has come up a lot in the trans community, not necessarily as of late, but just with the whole trans community coming more into the public eye. And that is trans gatekeeping and dealing with true scum. And I know lots of other people have made videos about this, and it's not exactly a new topic to be talking about, but it's something I've encountered pretty recently. Not like incredibly recently, but I'm surprised by how it's still around. So I just kind of wanted to step a foot into this. The people I see the people I've been around that have done some trans gatekeeping have either been trans people or cis allies who have been very open and honest and like actually accepting of trans people. So I always am like really confused when I hear or just encounter trans gatekeeping because it doesn't make sense to me from the people it's coming from. If you don't know what trans gatekeeping is, it's basically when someone like says they are trans, but then a bunch of people are like, no, you're not trans because you don't meet this big list of qualifying factors that says you are trans. When really the only qualifying factor of being trans is not identifying with your assigned gender at birth and identifying with the word trans. So I mean, it just I don't understand why people feel the need to say that people aren't trans. It's none of their business. It just doesn't work. I mean, there's the whole other end of that where people say that trans doesn't exist, but that's just transphobia. So we're not going to focus on that right now. A lot of what I hear is like, they're not trans because blank. And like, people can be trans without any like qualifying factors. Like, I guess by like a person who does a lot of trans gatekeeping standards, I would be considered trans because I meet a lot of qualifying factors. Like, for example, I was one time in English class, and these people were talking about this person. Some girls were talking about a person they didn't like, and I was like, wait, what's going on? And they said, oh, there's this, like, person that used to, like, tease this other girl we know in elementary school. And if you look on her Instagram, it says they, them, but, like, her Instagram's full of, like, pictures of makeup and stuff, and we're like, you a girl. And I was like, but their Instagram said they, them, so even though they like makeup and maybe DFAB, that doesn't mean just... And these are people that were like cis, but had been open about like accepting trans allies because they were good friends of mine and they totally accepted me and made an effort to use my pronouns, all that. And when I just kind of sat there and was like, and one of them said, oh, but like, you're obviously a they, like, we can tell. So what they were basically going off of with me being a they, them, just to put it simply, is that like I'm a person who likes to present androgynously and whose presentation flips. Like if I'm not presenting androgynously, I flip very frequently between extremely masculine and extremely feminine presentation, and I don't act particularly girly or particularly manly, and so they considered me a non-binary person because I fit those qualifying terms and I use they them pronouns, and they didn't consider this other person to be non-binary and use they them pronouns because they obviously enjoyed traditionally feminine things like makeup. And I'm not sure, they're good people, so they probably weren't intentionally trying to trans gatekeep, but it was still weird to come across it, especially with accepting people like that who just I know to be open about this stuff. So it was just, I don't understand why it happens sometimes. I mean, I guess everyone has a set idea that trans people have to act like cis people. I think that's where it feeds into, that that trans people have to accept gender roles and feed into gender roles to be accepted by society. But it's just, it shouldn't be how that works. It kind of is how it works, but it's not how it should work, and even if that's how the society should see it, you as an ally individual should know better than to do that. And what it all boils down to is that people have different presentations and different gender identities and expressions, and people can mix and match those whichever way they please, and it'll just be a more beautiful place if trans gatekeeping stopped. I mean, the whole concept of it boggles my mind, honestly. Like, the fact that we have this huge movement about being yourself and identifying with what you are, and we're still trying to apply traditional gender roles to that, when the whole concept, when a whole part of this movement is breaking away from traditional gender roles. So